Hey guys, how are ya? Hope you're all having a fantastic day. Hopefully you didn't miss me too much, or maybe for some of you, maybe I haven't been gone long enough. But for the last few days I've been away, I've been a little bit busy, so I haven't been able to do any videos. But today I've got a little bit of spare time, so I thought what better way to spend a little bit of spare time than to do a review. So hopefully you enjoy this one just as much as the others. Now I have to say this is a foreign horror film, so foreign language, English subs, you know the drill. This is one of the most talked about Spanish horror films in recent years. So I was really excited to get this copy. From what I am aware, this is the only release you can get with English subtitles, the Australian release. It hasn't been released in the UK, and it hasn't been released in the USA yet, but I'm sure that they will be released there eventually. Now, I'm going to look like a complete idiot if I'm wrong and they are released, but from what I am aware, the only release with the subtitled version is the Australian one. So a lot of hype around this one, so the expectation levels were very high. Sometimes that can be a bad thing, but I was hoping that it wasn't the case with this one because some really good Spanish stuff has come out recently. So fingers crossed. So I watched this yesterday. It's still very fresh in the memory, so I'm going to be sharing my thoughts on it. It was released in 2010, directed by Miguel Angel Vivas, and this film is called Kidnapped. And the story is as follows. For Wame, Marta, and daughter Isabel, life is looking up, if not a little skewed. Theirs is an expensive new abode to sort out family frustrations, personal ructions of minor consequence. But when three hooded men raid their home, they become unwilling statistics of an alarming new wave of crime sweeping Europe, known as express kidnapped. Not satisfied with simple break-and-enter style burglary, these faceless perpetrators intend to squeeze Wame for all the cash he is worth, abducting him and placing the family under excruciating circumstances, subject to all manner of abject violence and gut-wrenching misery, in order to secure their lucrative bounty. Tested by torture and the grueling reality of the visceral extreme, desperate to survive at any cost, the family that bleeds together stays together. With time running out and blood flowing fast, chilling to the last gasp, Kidnapped is truly an unforgettable blend of sheer ferocity and genuine terror. So this film is about a family. They've just recently moved into a luxurious house. So straight away you get the idea that they are not struggling for money at all because they seem to be very well off. So there's a husband and wife and there's a daughter. Now this daughter is getting up to her late teenage years and she's getting rebellious. And at the start of the film we have a family argument. The mother wants the whole family together, which is understandable for the first night in the new house. But this teenage daughter really wants to go out with her boyfriend to a party. So they're arguing. The first, say, 10 minutes is just arguing. And then the father takes the daughter's side, so the woman is now arguing with the father. And then all of a sudden, bang, the window smashes. And in come three hooded men in balaclavas. Now, these men are Albanian. So at first, what appears to be a simple break and enter, and they're going to rob them. But then they herd the family into the lounge room, and they say that they don't have enough to satisfy what they want. So the leader of this group take the father and says, okay, we're going for a drive to the ATM. You're going to get all your family's bank cards and we're going to completely dry them out, and that is what you're going to pay us in order to leave. So reluctantly the father has to go to the leader because this means they're leaving, he is leaving his wife and daughter with the two other men. So he doesn't trust them, but he has to go along with it because basically if he doesn't do what the leader says, the leader is going to make a phone call, and the the wife and the daughter are going to die. So he has to play along with it, but he really needs to get back home to make sure that everything's going to be safe. But he has to satisfy the leader's needs. So he's in a really, really big pickle. It's a massive dilemma, and he is really paranoid about what's going on back home. Meanwhile, back home, things are escalating not for the good because one of these guys who is looking after the mother and daughter, is a psychopath, to say the least, and he's very nasty. So things are escalating there. So you really don't know if the husband is going to get back in time and what's going to happen. So I'm going to leave it up to you to decide. As I said, if you want to pick up a copy, it's probably the Australian release is the best bet. So hopefully that synopsis has left enough curiosity for you to go out there and see the film for yourself. Now my thoughts on this film. A very, very well made piece of cinema this film is. However, go into this one with extreme caution because it is nasty. It, I haven't been this tested since I watched Martyrs. Now, it's just one of the most cruelest evil films I have seen. It was a horrible experience, but at the same time, it was a very good experience. It had me on the edge of my seat throughout the entire length. Now, Spanish horror has really made a name for itself, and this is just another one to add to the very, very memorable experiences. Now, what I liked about this so much was the unique approach that the director had to the film. Now, some instances where you have the guy at the ATM and the house, it's a split screen, so you can kind of see what's happening in both departments, like the house and the car. So that adds to the thrilling sort of aspect to it, that you know what's going on, but this husband doesn't. So you kind of want him to hurry back and save the day because things are getting out of hand, but he is completely oblivious to this. So I thought that was a really unique approach, and it really, really worked for this film. I know a few people were put off by that, but I thought, it really, really added to the high tension. So I really liked that. And I think that was ambitious filmmaking, and he really pulled it off because it could have easily been ruined because, it was an ambitious thing to do. And, it's something that I applaud for ambitious filmmaking. The acting was very good. I mean, the villains didn't have too much to play with. They were just bad. But the daughter especially played a really realistic role, and I really felt really bad for her because she has some ghastly things happen to her. And I'm not going to tell you what happens, but when you see it, you immediately feel sorry for her, and you want her to pull through. The mother was annoying at the start, but then you really feel sorry for her as well because put into this circumstance, you want, you know, what happens to this mother and daughter is just absolutely ghastly, and you don't want to see bad things happen. And at the end, you're praying that something good is going to come out of this. Then you've got the father. Once again, a really good role, very sympathetic, and the acting. The thing I got about this film is very, very, very realistic. So yeah, the acting was really good. I thought the leader of the bad guys was okay. I would have liked him to be a little bit more intimidating, but one of the villains in the whole thing was really psychotic, and he was a pervert too. So I really liked that character. He was very, very fearful. But the only problem I had with the acting is that they had the stereotypical sort of break and enter film where one of them is a little bit reluctant and regrets what he's doing. So I would have liked it to have all three of them psychotic, but there was only really, well, two of them were psychotic, but one of them was a real psycho. But then the other one was the stereotypical guy who is reluctant and wants to help out the family. So that's what I really didn't like about the film. But having said that, that's only a small, a very, very minor flaw in what is a very memorable experience. Now, the violence in this film is very, very brutal and in your face. I didn't think it was too bad, but 15 minutes before the end, the last 15 minutes is some of the most brutal stuff I've ever seen on screen. It is just really, really evil and just, oh wow. If you're a fan of hardcore stuff, you are going to get what you want in this film. The ending, I'm not going to tell you what happens at the end, but wow. Um, yeah, I mean, it's just one of those films where you just sit back and think, what the hell just happened? Just one of the most nasty films I've ever seen. Goes for 81 minutes. It goes at a very good rate. Now, if you like other home invasion films like Inside, Them, The Strangers, you're going to like this one. I felt that Cherry Tree Lane, which is a UK take of the home invasion, was very weak. But, Cherry Tree Lane is everything that, this is everything that Cherry Tree Lane should have been. You've got very, very fearful, sort of intimidating villains, and you've got a hopeless situation, and you really want it to come down and end happily. But whether or not it does, I'm going to leave that up to you to decide. So this is one of the most memorable Spanish horror films to come out in recent years. It is extreme, and it's just one that will just kick you in the stomach, and it won't let you back up. Now, what else? Yeah, I mean, it's just superbly directed, and it's a superb film. Whether or not it's a masterpiece, I won't make that judgment just yet. Over time, it may grow on me even more, but it's definitely a film that you can't watch often. Well, I can't anyway, because it had the same effect on me that Martyrs did. So, yeah, highly recommended. Extreme Spanish horror, one of the best in recent memories, and I would highly, highly recommend it to anybody out there who wants to be challenged. Alright guys, that's it for my review. I hope you enjoyed it, and until next time, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you later. Bye.